Hello, everyone. My name is Kaustubh Jhunjhunwala. I also go by KJ. I am the product manager for the service desk suite of integrations. And we have with us today Patrick.
Hi, I'm Patrick Zoeller, Staff Solution Architect at Omnissa, and today we want to have a look on the Workspace ONE UEM integration with ServiceNow.
Right. So in this video, we will try to cover how the service desk associates are using the ITSM connector by logging into ServiceNow to solve everyday problems using the integration between ServiceNow on one side and the Workspace ONE Unified Endpoint Manager UEM on the other. Patrick.
So as we are here now in the ServiceNow console as a service desk agent, we can see that the caller is already selected, and based on the caller, we have a Workspace ONE UEM tab where we see all the devices of that user. As we want to have a look deeper on our Windows device, we see that there's a Windows device. We see that it's last seen 10 minutes, so it's most likely the most current one. So we can just select that Windows device. To now start a Workspace ONE Assist session to that device, we have directly a button to start a Workspace ONE Assist session and help the user with the issues they are facing. Now we can select the assist mode, which is in this case screen share. We can also use file manager or remote shell. So we click to submit.
It's interesting to see, Patrick, that the ITSM connector gives you the ability to directly log into the customer's device right from within the incident management module of ServiceNow.
Yes, in this case, we use the attended mode. So we get directly to see the PIN. And now I can tell the user to enter the PIN. In this case, it is 3322. And whenever the user directly types in the PIN, we see directly the screen of the user. We can control it, we can use chat, and we can also do session collaboration and all that nice things that are within Workspace ONE Assist.
So Patrick, here's a question. What happens if you selected the unattended mode? Because we saw that there was an attended mode and an unattended mode.
So while the attended mode means that the user is getting prompted and asked for permission, the unattended mode would be, for example, if we are on the login screen, that the help desk can directly sign in, do some maintenance on that device, and then sign out, and the user can then use the device. So it will not prompt, but it will honor the privacy, so it won't interrupt the session from the user. It will ask for logging off if the user is logged on, and then it will then run the assist session.
Okay. And since you have started the remote assist session from within the incident and it happened really fast, what are the implications of this communication on ServiceNow? Is there any bandwidth or capacity utilization within ServiceNow that has to be accounted for?
No, it's going directly. It's using API calls and it's doing it directly. So I'm from the help desk client that I'm using here. I'm doing a direct session with the Workspace ONE Assist server, and from the Assist server, it's using that. So there is no direct communication in this case when what I do in that screen share with ServiceNow. It is only initiating that call.
Fabulous. And I think at the moment you are just viewing the screen. Can you also control the user's screen? Is that possible?
Yes, if we want to go to control, we can click here to remote control. It will blur the screen and the user gets asked if he wants to approve that the help desk agent can control the screen. If I click to allow as a user, it takes some seconds and you will see that you now can control the screen. So if I now want to go to the browser, I can click it as a help desk and I see directly the screen of the user. I can open a new tab and then I can also type in whatever I want to do in that case.
Okay, so now as the service desk associate, you are controlling the end user's device by starting a remote assist session from ServiceNow. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm not even logged into Workspace ONE UEM as an help desk. I don't need that in that case because I have everything available directly from ServiceNow. No need for provisioning users to the help desk on UEM side, it's all using the integration directly from the incident module of ServiceNow.
Okay. What else are we seeing today?
Okay, let's go back to our device. As we were seeing that the user, for example, was using mainly the browser, and we want to see maybe if the experience on that browser is good or not, we can also have a look on the experience side of the things. With our Workspace ONE experience, we can click the experience tab and we see if the experience of that user is good. We see the average memory usage, CPU usage, if there was some OS crashes and all that things. As well as we see the device events, for example, the shutdown times, boot times, for example. And also we see if the most used apps, and especially if the experience is good of that app, or if it has some hangs or crashes on that app. So we have an insight directly from the ServiceNow, what is happening on the device, and if there's something wrong, we can see it directly here on that Workspace ONE Experience tab in ServiceNow.
Okay. So here, in fact, if you look at the ticket, it talks about the user having some issues with their Omnissa tunnel. We see that the device is fine because the memory usage, the CPU usage, GPU, everything is working out quite well. But to solve this problem specifically about tunnel, what are the actions that you can take, or how can you remediate this problem for the end user in order for it to completely be resolved?
Yes, let us have a look on the device itself. We see some basic data of the device, as well as we see, for example, the profiles. And let's have a look about the profiles. So we have a profile that is called tunnel. And we see, oh, there are 2 tunnel profiles even assigned, but none of them is installed, which should be installed. As an help desk agent, I can just click on install. So let's use that, install it. And it's directly pushing the install of the profile. As well as we need an application. So let's check if Tunnel app is even installed. If we search for that, we see Workspace ONE Tunnel. Oh, it's not even installed. So if the user doesn't have the application installed, let's directly go in and click to install. So the help desk can install for the user the Workspace ONE Tunnel, and that application gets then installed on the device. As the help desk is still talking to the user and all that, they can also have a look on the progress of the installation, as well as talking to the user and guiding them to see if Tunnel after the installation works as expected.
So are you telling me that the service desk associate, without logging into UEM or without having access to UEM, can push profiles and install applications from within incident itself?
Yes, exactly. It can do that from the incident itself, and also do the installation of applications and all that within ServiceNow without needing anything to do with directly the UEM console.
Wow, that's fast and efficient. Now, what if the service desk manager wants to see the actions that were taken by this service desk associate on this ticket? Is there some kind of a history that is created that says, okay, this is the person who took this particular action?
Yes, so what we have is as well, we have the notes. So it will create notes. If you configure that, you will see that I was, for example, pushing down the install command for the Windows tunnel. I was pushing down the profile as well. You see that I initiated the assist session. This is added to the incident on the ServiceNow side.
Okay.
The same is also on the Workspace ONE UEM side. You can add a note, and it is adding that notes automatically on that device. So you have directly the notes available.
So are you saying that a note is created within ServiceNow as well as within UEM that specifies the action taken, the user who took that action, and the timestamp on both sides in ServiceNow as well as UEM?
Yes, let us have a look on the UEM side. So whenever we log in to UEM, we will then see that the assist session, for example, was carried out, as well as you see that here on the notes. You see, for example, here that assist was used. And also you see in the troubleshooting log that, for example, the specific commands, for example, pushing an application and all that have been initiated. So you see that.
Oh, so if a service desk manager wanted to check or do a audit of all the actions taken against all of the devices from within the ITSM connector, they have that history on both sides of the house, right?
Correct. Both
Okay.
sides see everything on that. Yes, fully transparent and also fully transparent to the end user, because we are honoring the privacy settings like assist, that it asks for the user permission and all that, as we have it on all of our products.
Very interesting. Now, what if my user has a different device? Say they have any other device. Can you go to any other device from within this incident?
Yes, and now let's say we want to talk about that Android device. As you may see, this is a Zebra device that we have here on the table. Let's just say, okay, it was not the Windows device. We want to take the Android device, the Zebra. So we can just click to change device. We can see the devices of that associated user, that is the caller, and we can just search for that. And as we see, it's we said it is an Android device, a Zebra one. So let's take that one, for example. If we see it is not matching that criteria, we can also redefine the search criteria, entering a serial number, entering a username, and make sure that we find the right device that we want to run actions on. So let's select that Android device. As you may see, this is now the Android device. If we want to have a look on that, we can also go here, see the profiles, see which profiles are installed, which profiles are not installed, which are maybe pending. So we see the status of that. Same for applications. We see what applications are installed. We can install applications. We see the certificates that are there. In this case, we don't have any certificates there. And if we have some products, we see also the products of product provisioning.
Okay. I also noticed on your incident that there is no configuration item selected. So what is the source of this data? How are you getting all of the devices pertaining to a single user? What is your source of truth?
Yes, so we are using in this case the username, so the username of that user, and we are using an API to Workspace ONE UEM, searching for that user, getting all devices that are attached to that user enrolled. In this case, as it is even a shared device, even if it's a shared device, if this user is logged in, it shows that device.
Interesting. Which means if I don't have a CMDB or I don't have ITOM licenses and I have not installed the service graph connector for VMware Workspace ONE, can I still use the ITSM connector?
Yes, we can work without any configuration item. As you can see, I was not using the configuration item in that case. As long as the caller is there, we can at least use that username. If that doesn't match, and we maybe just have a serial number, but we don't know 100% who is using that device currently in retail cases, in staging cases, we can just go to change device, go to redefine search criteria, and we can enter, for example, just the serial number. Just as an example, if I know the serial number is this one, I can just search for it. I see that device, can click it, and can run actions based on that.
Okay, that's very interesting because in a lot of the customer environments, the serial number is manually typed into the incident. That serial number is actually copied from ServiceNow into UEM. It is searched over there, and then all of these actions are made available. But what you have shown us today is you can do the same things from here with or without a configuration management database, with or without a CI. It's almost like magic.
Yep. And now if we want to control the screen of that, and say, okay, let's go with Workspace ONE Assist. Also here, the assist button is there. We can just click it, and within seconds, we are on that device. So let's say we go with screen share.
Okay, so what you're telling us is that you can start the remote assist session on any device, whether it is a Windows device, desktop, laptop, or whether it is an Android device, be it my regular smartphone, or even a Zebra device for that matter. You can do the same thing across multiple platforms.
Correct. Across the whole fleet. Whatever it is, you can just use that. Correct. So in this case, you see it's asking for permission of the user. I just click that, and you see it's going to launcher. And now we are at the home screen. You can see it. This is my device, and you see it via the screen sharing as well.
Okay, and remote view, remote control, both of the things will work exactly as is, even in uh, this Zebra device, something similar to what we saw in Windows. Is that accurate?
Correct, correct. It's the same. It's the same if it is Windows, Mac. It doesn't matter, or Android. It's doing everything exactly the same. Correct.
Okay, okay, very
Can
interesting.
just go with remote control. We can do session collaboration if I want to invite you, that you see the screen as well and you help me on that issues as well, because maybe the first level doesn't know everything and we need some second level to join that session. We can just invite guests, use the on-screen keyboard and all that things that are available. We can just use them directly, also from here directly.
Okay, and any communication that is happening now between the service desk and the user, ServiceNow has no role to play with it. ServiceNow is being used almost like an initiator of the conversation, but what goes on in that conversation is something that ServiceNow is not recording. Is that right?
Correct, correct. Everything within the assist session is only recorded on the UEM and assist side, so on the Omnissa side, but not on the ServiceNow side because it is within our Omnissa tool. And yeah, it's just initiating the action there. Correct. If we, for example, use, and I know a lot of customers are using tags to assign stuff and all that, we can also use tags on that. So we have that device actions. We can add and tag, we can delete and tag, and we have a lot of other things available. For example, we can device wipe. If the device is lost, we can wipe it. We can do an enterprise wipe, sync the device, delete, clear passcodes, and all that nice things. So if we go, for example, with manage tags, you see, for example, we have 3 tags currently added. And if we want to add another one, for example, and saying we want to add that fish app, we can just add that tag, click to submit, and it is adding that tag directly on the device.
And from what I understand, every tag can have a corresponding workflow or a corresponding automation in the background. So if, say, for example, I have a tag that says install fish, as soon as that tag is associated, the corresponding automation which looks for the tag, and if it finds the tag, it will install the fish application. It will automatically get triggered. So in effect, each of these tags can work as separate automations in the background.
Correct, correct. So for example, in this case, I think it is installing an application. So that application will then be directly installed. If we want to have a look on how it looks on the UEM side, we can just go to UEM, log in, and we see that the fish tag is assigned. So the tag is added here, and that is real time. So as you saw it here, it is added directly in API via API, and it has directly added that. Also here, if you have added a tag, you will see that this is also here noted down that that it was adding the tag.
Oh, very interesting. So it is not just adding the tag in the notes, but it is also telling you which device the tag was added to and appending its serial number in the note section.
Yes, correct. It's adding all the details that are available. As some of the enrollments may not have serial number is not always in there, but we also support without serial number. So hub registered devices that don't have serial numbers in the inventory, even that devices work on the ITSM connector.
What about iOS devices? What can you show us when it comes to iOS devices?
If we just go back on saying, okay, change device, and we just go user. So in this case, we see this user has an iOS device. So we can directly use that, have a look there. We can also use assist here. We have all the profiles there, all the applications that are installed and that are available for that specific device. Same for certificates. We see that certificates, if it is there, and use that.
Okay. In a lot of service desk organizations, we've seen that changing the passcode or changing the password is something that is very common. People have forgotten their passcode after they have come back for vacations, and a lot of tickets are just based on changing passcodes, clearing passcodes, changing passwords on the devices. Can your ITSM connector help with those use cases as well?
Yes, we can just go in and clear the device passcode. So it will clear the passcode whenever when I'm coming back from vacation, forgot about the passcode. I can just clear it from here directly from the console. So that is also possible. Yes. As well as if I lost the device, I can also use find device. So it will do some sounds and all that. Yes, this works as well.
Okay, wow. That is actually a lot of power for service desk. Can I define which service desk gets which powers? So if I don't want all of these actions to be available to my level 1 service desk, can I make those distinctions between the actions available to L1, certain other actions available to L2, and perhaps all the actions available to L3? Is there a way to segregate those?
Yes, we are using the role-based access, which is using groups in ServiceNow. So you can define what action is general allowed, so what is allowed with the ITSM connector, as well as we have permissions, we have basic and advanced roles, as well as every single action that we have, we can define if that is allowed for that specific user group or for that specific user. And so you can define that level 1, for example, is just allowed to do assist and some basic actions, while the device wipe, for example, is just for level 2 or something like that. Yes, this can be fully customized to your needs. So you can define what you need for that, and you can just do that.
So, Patrick, we've seen that ServiceNow has come up with the latest UI called the Service Operations Workspace. Can you show us the capabilities of this ITSM connector in the new SOW as well?
Yes, let's just quickly switch over to the new service operation workspace, which is looking like that. And also here you have a button that is called Workspace 1 ITSM. You can click that button and then you have the 2 tabs available similar to the classic UI in ServiceNow. If we have, for example, here an iOS device, lost mode, and so user lost the device, we want to enable lost mode. Let's have a look how we can do that here in Service Operation Workspace of ServiceNow. So we click that. It will then populate the data for that specific device. Also here we have all the tabs that we know from the other UI as well. And we have here on the device actions, we have lost mode. We can just directly click it, add the phone number that is then on the lock screen of that, add a message and then footnote, submit it, and it will directly push out the command for enabling lost mode. The same thing is if the user finds the device, we can also disable it from here. We can just set that to disable, and then it disables the lost mode on the device.
Okay. And are there any differences between the capabilities in the native UI and the capabilities in the new UI?
No, it's 100% the same features and same functions, and it's also using the same role-based access than we use in the classic UI. There's no difference on that.
Wow, that is amazing. Probably some of the key takeaways for me are just the cleanliness with which my service desk can now do investigation and remediation to look for the problem, identify the problem, whether it is by looking at the list of applications, whether it is looking at the disk space, CPU, memory, when was the device last seen, when was the device last enrolled, just some basic things, even finding out the person's device, which is sometimes quite tough for the service desk to determine. I can do all of that investigation and all of that remediation without any of the overheads, without any additional training in UEM, without any IDs being created of my service desk in UEM, without increasing the time that it takes for my service desk to go from one console to the other console, maybe to a third console, in order to fix these issues. So overall, the service desk efficiency improves quite a bit through the use of the ITSM connector. At least those are some of the key takeaways for me. What about you, Patrick? What are some of your favorite features?
Yes, so I really like the Workspace ONE Assist integration directly in there. You can make sure that the help desk can directly support users and not just with Workspace ONE things. Sometimes they have just questions about application support teams can use it. So whatever is using your ServiceNow instance or your Workspace ONE instance, you can help on supporting your users. And it's all about bringing down costs, being more efficient, and helping users faster to make them successful, to run your business successful as well.
Wow, Patrick, I just cannot wait for some of my customers to start using this ITSM connector integration between ServiceNow and Workspace ONE UEM. It increases the efficiencies, reduces the time for resolving issues, reduces the overhead, and basically there is plenty that we can use the ITSM connector for in order to increase the efficiencies of the service desk. So on that note, I thank you for showing us this demonstration, and I hope you come back with a follow-up based on the feedback that we are getting from our customers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.